how's it going? It's Danny. It's week 30 here on the OTK, and this week's topic is coming out stories. They want us to tell you about our coming out stories in order to kind of help you guys who haven't come out yet. So, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about mine. I came out, I want to say it was almost 4 years ago. And when I came out, I first made sure I had a support system. So I had already told one friend, who had come out actually 2 weeks before I did, maybe a little over 2 weeks. Maybe it was more than a month, but came out shortly before I did. I had told him, and we had gone to a friend's house to tell all of my friends first, because that was how I wanted to do it. I wanted to tell the people closest to me first, and the people closest to me at that point in time were my friends. So I told them, and they were very accepting and very secure and fine. Next was to tell my mom, who I was close with at the time. And I had taken a friend with me who, this was, I believe, 2 months after I had told all my friends. So my friends were already, getting into the calling me he and all that stuff and understanding, and I had taken one of them to my mom, to tell my mom, which also went well. And I did everything really close together, because I figured if I was going to come out to one person, I need to come out to everybody, because word gets around, and I want people to hear it from me, not other people. So after I told my mom, I had moved out for a little bit, lived with an ex-girlfriend, and after I had broken up with the ex-girlfriend, I decided that it's time to reconnect with my father, with my dad, and my grandma, and my aunts and uncles on that side of the family. And I had already been talking to a cousin of mine, who is my best friend to this day. Was actually the best man at my wedding. I had talked to this cousin and told this cousin everything, and her and her mom and dad had told me to come stay with them for a week, and I could go to the family function, which it was Christmas time, so it was a Christmas Eve party. They had told me to go to this family function and come out there, with the support system of that entire group of families. So there were 5 people there supporting me while I was doing it. So I came out to them, and at one point in time, I had never really said in the big group that I was a transgender man. I prefer to leave the scrutiny from other aunts and uncles out of it. So I waited until I was alone with my cousin and my dad and my grandma to tell them exactly what was going on, and they were completely fine with it. The only people that I really had problems with was when I went home, because I come from a small town in Columbiana County. By small town, I mean there's barely 1,000 people in it. I graduated from a class of 63. So it's a very small town. Everybody knows everybody. And I had gone down home to see if my friends were coming to my wedding at that point in time, and to come out to them, because they had seen it on MySpace, they had seen it on Facebook, but I don't think it took a full effect until I showed up. And it got very awkward very quickly. I had forgotten, since I'd been so well recepted through my new friends and my family and people that I meet, that I had forgot that the small town I come from is kind of close-minded and knows nothing about the LGBT community. I'm not saying that nobody down there is in the LGBT community. They are, I know several, but we tend to move out before we come out just because of the scrutiny and stuff. So I had gone home to tell a couple of people, and it got so awkward that I cut my visit with one friend short, and it was the friend that I've had my entire life. I had cut that visit short just because it was awkward. But I had my wife there as my support to kind of make me feel better after everything. And I think that's the biggest part of coming out, is to have a support system, to have at least one person in your life know what's going on, be accepting, be able to support you, so that when you go to come out to your family or your other friends or whatever, you have somebody there who understands and who will help you explain things, or who will, if it goes poorly, be able to lift you back up, or, you know, to congratulate you when it goes well. Just somebody there to make you feel more safe in it. That's kind of my biggest tip for coming out. You should always have some sort of support system. And people say that doesn't work for them, which is fine, but I've found it a lot easier. And I'm a loner. I like to do things by myself, but I couldn't do this by myself. It was too big for me to handle by myself. So I needed somebody there who knew what was going on and who could support me. That's my biggest thing. Luckily for me, I did it in places where I knew how people would react. I study people very well. Like, I study my friends to find out how they'll react. I studied my family to find out how they would react. Because I don't like disappointment. I like to plan for the worst and hope for the best. So when I came out to my dad, who's known for having, if he's disapproving, he's going to be violent or yell and scream, not in front of his family, not in front of big crowds. So I made sure I did that with him there. My mom likes to make scenes, so I made sure I did it with her at home. My friends, I didn't know how they would react, honestly, but I knew that it wasn't going to be bad, so I made sure I did it with them all in one place. It's just, you know, it's your personal preference, but I like to study, basically, understand who I'm telling, so that I can put them in the right situation for them to handle it properly. That's another big tip for me. But other than that, I mean, my coming out was easy, because I had support. From my friends before my family, I had support through my entire transition. I was lucky enough to have somebody who was transitioning be able to help me jumpstart my coming out. And I feel bad because I feel like he didn't have too much support in the beginning to tell, you know, people, because he didn't have what I had, which was another transitioning man, be able to support him the first time he told his friends or his family that he was coming out as a transgender man. So I feel bad for that, but for me, having him there kind of made it simpler for me. That's about it on this topic this week, actually. Next week's week 31, and the topic is masculinity. Do you feel that society is holding you to some unstated level of masculinity that you must show in order to be considered male? That's actually a really good topic, and I want to talk about that topic next week. So, you know, keep an eye out for that one. Keep an eye out for everybody else, too. Until then, I'm Danny. It's Wednesday, and it's week 30, and I'll see you next week.